Hello there. Welcome to John's program. I am calling it my program because this YouTube page is for my singing lessons, and these singing lessons are both for my students and for me, and also people who might want to talk about, or engage on certain vocal things. Now, there's an overriding point I wish to make, which is that in today's world there is a lot of conversation about neurodivergence, and I heartily welcome it. And I welcome it because the conversation about neurodivergence versus neurotypical behaviour is essentially a conversation about mental health and mental function. And we're talking about the mind. We're talking about psychology. We're talking about things that I've spent my entire life thinking and talking about. Even as a child, I was interested in the function of my mind. But that brings me on to a very important thing, which is I was a very quiet child. My parents were worried that I wasn't talking initially. I think I started making noise as a toddler very, very late. Also, as a child, pre-adolescent, I was very quiet. As a teenager, I was also quite quiet. But what progressively gave me the skills to vocalize and to somehow exist in society was singing. And I believe that I actually sung out a feeling of dyslexia. The reason for that is I have always connected to aspects of dyslexia, but I've always wondered, why is it that I have a clear sense of most language, in the sense that I'm not going to get certain letters mixed up, but sometimes I do. When I'm learning, whenever I do a foreign language, or indeed if I'm reading Latin in a church service, I will often put the R in the wrong place, even though it's written in a certain point. And it does cause, on a minor level, it causes the conductor or another singer to kind of smirk, because I've sung like, I don't know, noster rather than nostra, or there are examples, I just can't think of them right. But so also the thing is, neurodivergence is shown really in how you connect to information, whether that information be just you in your own time, or whether that mean you in the outside world. And the way I can connect to information is highly individualistic and is not typical. And so I believe actually that every unique artist is on the autistic spectrum. Every artist, and by that I mean every musician, anyone involved in a creative pursuit. And actually, you can argue that sport is a creative pursuit as well. Certainly, the way people have described Pele and Madonna. See, that's an example of dyslexia. I'm saying the word Madonna rather than Maradona. You see, that's very typical. That's just me, and a lot of people just laugh and they think it's funny. But I don't mean to be funny. It's how I comprehend language. And actually, I do struggle to speak, which is the weird irony of me speaking right now. I don't consider myself to be natural in any of these things. If I have any feeling of anxiety, I have lots of problems in my ability to communicate. It's because I'm autistic. It's because I'm on that spectrum. It's because I do not think in a neurotypical sense. But the reason why I was attracted to music as a child is it gave me a voice. It literally gave me a voice. I started speaking, right? Look at how I'm using my hands. It's like I'm trying to be a new Labour politician. Or maybe I should be, doing this more with my hands and constricting my larynx. And that brings me on to another thing. I am totally obsessed with singing. I'm so obsessed with singing I don't even realise it, right? And it allows me to do it every day. Now, how does this relate to my students? I believe I have the singing bug. I've had the singing bug since I was 10, as in I've loved singing more and more ever since. I think that's why I'm a good teacher, because I'm interested in thinking of singing in different ways. It also makes me extremely waffly talking about singing. But the reason why I think I'm a good teacher is because I show my enthusiasm for singing via whatever we're doing. And I mean, there are certain types of singing that if someone said, "Can I sing this?" I'm like, I have no idea how you do that. I'm sorry. Like if you want to sing like Rob Halford, or actually metal vocals. I've got some skill with metal vocals, but I'm not going to teach it, if I'm honest. Even though I've tried already. Thing is, see, I've lost my train of thought. Autism. It's just I've got ton of focus, then lose sight of what I'm doing. But I'm also able to function abnormally, because I can tell you, I've been teaching singing this morning. I got out of bed very late. I haven't had breakfast. I haven't brushed my teeth. I'm wearing the same clothes as yesterday. You probably don't want to know those things, because those are neurotypical things that you've got to abide by with social media. We've all got to look perfect. Now, this is public on my YouTube page, so I have to not swear, right? But just to let you know, obviously it is neurotypical to swear, but it's also neurotypical to not swear. The thing is, I have to conform. We all have to conform in society, and music provides a space to channel that non-conformist approach. And I've never been a conformist in my entire life. I haven't had the capacity. I don't know how to conform. I can only exist. Like I can like conform and then essentially just pretend to be someone else. That's basically all I've done, because I have actually had normal jobs. I've worked in the kitchen. I've done temp work. packing envelopes, and I've worked in a pharmacy, and you know, I've done other jobs before, and I've worked in schools, or I've worked in schools now. But it's just like, if there are certain things which don't have that creative sense within them, I make it creative. Trust me, I make these things. You got to make these things creative, and that's how it exists. And I call it. So John's program is essentially, it's my program if I'm, you know, doing it right. So how I handle my neurodivergence is on my own terms. That's why it's called John's program. But if my student is handling their perceived neurodivergence, whatever their name is, it's their name's program, right? And it costs as much as you want. You can learn a musical instrument. You can learn to sing for free. You can. You just got to find the resources, which are free, or just figure it out for yourself. It's free. It costs nothing to learn. To, you know, any aspect of music you can effectively learn for free. I mean, if you want to like record like a hip hop track, you do need access to a studio. That probably costs money, but you know, you can learn to rap by yourself. Just listen to a recording. All you have to pay for is the electricity that is playing that recording. Indeed, hip hop is a genre of music which is defined by the urban sense, the fact that it's made on the street. It doesn't, to walk onto the street and do some rapping. Do you have to exchange any money? No. But hip hop is like defined by neurodivergence, right? You see, this is just every type of music which is sort of unique in some way is effectively created by neurodivergence. So that is why you can see that music is actually a vehicle for the neurodivergence. Now, whether the creation of, you know, via the music, whether it's moral, is a different subject. But it is still a handling. And actually, if you do the music, and you can actually, it can allow you to reflect on yourself as a person. You know, a lot of the music that I sing, I've not written. I didn't write Bach's Christmas Oratorio because my name isn't Johann Sebastian Bach. But the content of this, it's not telling me, it's not like being misogynistic. Well, maybe there's some way you can find it's misogynistic, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's overtly rude, right? So a lot of music I sing isn't overtly rude. Therefore, actually, a lot of it allows me to connect to a non-rude side to myself. But if I sing some opera, which is a bit rude, a bit slanderous, if you like, then, you know, I connect to a different side of myself. And that's the point, is the art shows you, and it's always a vehicle for you to negotiate yourself, right? And actually, I think art allows you to understand reality, because it allows you to see, this is something that's created, this is an idea, now I'm in the real world, now I'm talking to a person. Am I going to behave like Don Giovanni when I'm talking to that woman? Am I going to behave like Rigoletto when I'm talking to, you know, a wealthy person? No. Because, you know, I'm not going to kill rich people, and I'm also, that's what happens in Rigoletto, and or what he tries to do at least. And also, in Don Giovanni, I'm not pretending to seduce all women that move. Basically, this is what I'm singing. My neurodivergence is going into this. Now, I haven't even had breakfast. I want to sing a bit of this, because I want to address another point, which is, operatic development is an extremely poorly taught thing globally. If you go to an opera house now, it is very likely you won't hear all the singers. That means they're not properly trained. It's literally that simple, because people have sung in theatres for a long time. For hundreds of years, people have been singing in large spaces. And they didn't have subtitles, and they didn't have any means of understanding what the person was singing about, apart from what was coming out of their mouth. So that's why vocal technique is an extremely important thing if you want to be an opera singer, because it's the thing that will allow you to get the words and the meaning across, right? And with that in mind, I am going to use... So I don't really have a lot of time to sing opera this week, because I'm learning this, because I'm basically singing all of the first three parts, including the chorus. And I'm just going to sing the first movement, the choral part. I'm going to sing it in German, because that's what I have to do it in. And I'm going to connect to the chiaroscuro in my voice. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to do a warm-up. Okay, so what we do... Chiaroscuro, what is it? It's basically having a good breath, feeling a connection to your hair, making a bright sound from the get-go, feeling the bright sound within a feeling of space in the mouth, and then the continuation of that higher in your range. You should only negotiate... how I understand singing is you should only negotiate the top when you've negotiated the bottom. To some extent, you could say you negotiate in the middle, but I think it's actually easier to teach singing if you just think bottom to top. Some people can develop really good high notes and lack in the bottom. It takes me ages to try and technically nitpick what they're doing and how they're doing it, but I'll just say this. So, needs a bit more. See, it needs a fuller breath. So you test the chiaroscuro, then you just warm up aspects of it. I'm warming up the depth at the bottom. No, I need to make it a bit more No, let's do it again. See, that's my neurodivergence. I can't remember the note. Don't you think it's ironic that I'm a singing teacher? I negotiate every single thing I sing. I'm negotiating my neurodivergence. Sometimes I'm like a laser. I'm on it. Like sometimes I can sing anything. Sometimes all over the shop. It's because of my emotions, my emotional state. I'm probably overloading the mic, so it's going to be backing off, but whatever. Right. To me, that feels high enough. It says that if I wanted to sing opera, then I would need to do that again and again, and also work the mid a bit more just to feel really comfortable, and also work through lots of language, speak the language, feel the chiaroscuro within the language, and then also maybe have some breakfast. I think it's really difficult to sing opera without breakfast. Genuinely. Because you need energy, right? But I don't, especially if you want to sing intensely at the top, right? Now, instead I don't need that, so I don't need to sing intensely at the top, I just need to sing this well. So, Jagset froliket, aufpreiset die Tage, Jagset froliket, 1, 2, Jagset froliket, aufpreiset die Tage, rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. I've never sung this before, just what key are we in? Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Tage, verbannet die Klage, lasset die Sagen, verbannet die Klage, lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage, stimmet was Jauchzen und Fröhlichkeit an. Jauchzet fromm an. Well, I'm a bit flat, I think. Jauchzet frohlocket, aufpreiset die Tage. Jauchzet frohlocket, jauchzet frohlocket, aufpreiset die Tage. Rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. Oh, see, yep. Now, you might like to know that that might sound not very good, because that's when my neurodivergent mind isn't aiding my singing, right? So what I need to do is to steer it, channel my neurodivergent mind. I know how to pitch. I need to look at the notes. It's a bit dark in here. No excuses. So we just go from a bit again. Oh, preise die Tage. Jauchzet. I could tell you what I'm thinking theoretically, but it's boring. Frohlocket. D major. Jauchzet, frohlocket. Oh, preiset die Tage. And then I'm going to think. Rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Lasset die Sagen, verbannet die Klage. See, do you notice? I can actually speak German, but because I'm processing so much information, I can't really. I'm actually making some of this up, right? That's the dyslexia within me, right? Because I've got to channel it. If I'm in this emotionally sort of unideal state, which is a good state to be in to practice because you learn to cope, then you know many things go out the window. So I'm also stopping because I think I'm in a mistake. So what's the point of gear? So what I've noticed with Bach, and I've just reminded myself really, is that with Bach, the pitching is not easy. It's not straightforward. So but it's actually quite what's the word? Patterned. It's very patterned. Just find the patterns in the music, and then you're all good basically. And it does require a very good understanding of tonality to do that, and harmony. So basically, good. I don't need to do. I suppose I'll do. Which bit should I do? The bit where I did wrong, because you've got to keep going. I've got to go through the whole thing. Well, 3 parts. Yeah. So the second part, good. Yeah, fine. I'll go from the second part. So, very important thing to practice in rehearsing any kind of music is to do connections. Rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. See, I can't pitch a fourth. I can't pitch a fourth. I teach these things. Neurodivergence. I haven't had breakfast. I haven't had a shower. You know, I haven't changed my clothes. Doesn't matter. This shows you. This is the unbridled. You know, whatever. Me. Rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. Rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Do you notice how I look away? It's because I'm trying to think of the minor third. That's how neurodivergent I am with my music. Rühmet, was heute der Höchste getan. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Klage. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Wow, that wasn't quite right, was it? Sagen, verbannet die Klage, lasset. So I actually can't pitch an octave sometimes. I think it's extraordinary. Again, neurodivergence, if it's not channel. I haven't really warmed up my theoretical musical brain. That's actually one reason why I'm doing all these rudimentary errors. Verbannet die Klage, lasset das Sagen verbannt. Now I'll tell you another thing. My knowledge of German, it can just seep in there. Klagen means complain, or complaints, worries, and I can actually all these. I'm concerned about singing this music. What does it mean? I'm struggling to. What do the notes mean? Klagen, throw it away. It doesn't matter. It does matter a bit because I still can't pitch this octave. Wow, that's much higher than I thought. Hagen verbannet die Klage. Klage, lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage, lasset das Sagen, verbannet die Klage. Stimmet wohl Jausen und Fröhlichkeit an. Dienet dem Höchste, dienet dem Höchste mit herrlichen mit herrlichen Chören. Dienet dem Höchsten, dienet dem Höchsten mit herrlichen Chören. Mit herrlichen Chören. Lasst uns den Namen den Herrschers verehren. Lasst uns den Namen den Herrschers verehren. Lasst uns den Namen des Herrschers See, Bach is if sight reading Bach is difficult. This is why I think that no choir should ever sing Bach unless the each part has learnt the ability to pitch. To pitch from one note, but to remember the note that they finished on and then sing the next note. With Bach, you do not have time to get your note from other parts. It's too jumpy. You can't, I've got to listen to that note, the alto's getting it. No. Because also you'll destroy your feeling of line and everything, vocally, bad idea. So what I'm doing, it shows you that if I haven't had breakfast, if I have not really slept enough, if I haven't had a shower, if I haven't been able to warm up my brain and kind of relax a bit, then I'm not going to be able to sight read Bach very well. So that's what I'm basically proving. But I can sight read slightly better than this, but it's still the end of this movement is difficult just looking at it. Lasst uns den Namen der Herrschersphären. Lasst uns den Namen des Herrschers verehren. See, it's not bad, but there was something wrong there. Lasst uns den Namen des Herrschers Nice. That was pretty good. That wasn't spot on, but it was close. So I'll do that again. Lasst uns den Namen des Herrschers verehren. Lasst uns den Namen des Herrschers verehren. Lasst uns den Namen des Herrschers verehren. Whatever, right? You know, that's not bad. That's good. So what I'm doing right now is I need to eat some food now, actually, and then I'm going to sing the next movement. And what I do when I do gigs where I sing in the choir and do solos is I sing everything as many times as possible, because then I get a feeling, or as many times as I feel like I need, I get a feeling for how I use my voice, so that my voice isn't compromised when I do the solos. Okay, goodbye.